Hi and welcome to this week's YouTube vlog. And I'm back after a couple of weeks. Thank you everyone for all the lovely kind words I've had over the last couple of weeks. People that aren't aware, I lost my father-in-law and it's been a bit tough on the other side of the family, as they say. Coupled with my mother-in-law who's now living with me with dementia, it's just made it a bit more of a strain for us. So yeah, I had to take a couple of weeks out to focus on that, but now I'm back, and that's the good news for me and the good news for my bobbers. So there we go. Moving on to this week's vlog, we are gonna go and look at a Grant boiler. So this boiler has got a noisy circulation pump on it. We went there a couple of days ago, a leaking auto air vent, and when you start the boiler from cold, it's on 0 to half a bar of pressure. When it gets hot, it's on 2.5, a bit more comes out the PRV. So yeah, that's probably vessel hose or vessel as well. So that's what we're doing. I'm not going to go on anymore. Let's get on with this week's vlog. Okay, so here we go. Here is a boiler. You can see it's had some valves on it before by somebody. Okay, so the problem we got here, we're not going to run it up because we came here yesterday actually, and we don't want to get it hot again, is that this pump is exceptionally noisy here. We've also got a auto air vent leak in there, so we're going to change the pump, we're going to change the auto air vent. And then as you can see at the moment, the system pressure is 0. When that boiler's been running for 5 minutes, it's up at 2 bar. Okay, so on a quick bit of diagnosis, we know that this is okay, because it looks like someone's changed it before. But when it was running, this was stone cold, and here is your filling loop here. So just about here where my finger is, it was cold there, but when I went a bit further, it was red hot. So there's a blockage just here in the filling, not in the filling, sorry, in the vessel hose. Okay, so we'll be changing that as well. So that's what we're going to be doing. I'm going to get some tools and I'll be back. Okay, so here we go. First what we're going to do is we're going to pop off the balance flute hose. We're going to put it right out the way. There it is. We'll tuck that out the way. It's probably going to keep annoying me, but at the moment, we're going to leave it there. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put out the vessel here, that it's light. Okay, like so. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to get on the top here, and this doesn't work on everything, but on most things, this is the Barco multi-purpose Mark 9 tool that does pretty much everything, cabinets and that, but it's got a thing in there that we can literally turn off the pump valves. One. So they're now turned off. I'm now just going to go and pop and get a hose or a bucket, and what we're going to do now is we're going to make sure that is isolated there, which it is. That's your mains in, which someone's busted up at the top there out of the way. As you can see, this is the other end of the filling loop. We're just going to literally disconnect it here, put a drain hose on and drain the pressure out of the system, and I'll be back. We're just going to nip the filling loop off here. Always be careful when you do this, just in case you get wet, because I've had this happen so many times before. You know, I thought I was going to get wet there, Isabel.
Really?
I'll stick mine on. My hose just goes to outside, and I'm going to let the pressure go. As you can see, there's none in there anyway, but I can still feel the pressure in the system going down. Okay, so while that's happening, we can just leave that. We can crack on up the top here. So really straightforward and easy. You don't have to take anything apart much on these pumps. We're just going to get our grips. We're going to undo number 1, like so. And we're going to do number 2, which was tighter, like so. There'll be a little dribble from this, nothing too exciting. So we're just going to put a cloth under there just to make sure we don't soak everything. We're draining it anyway, but there could be a bit of residue in there, so it's best just to put that in as well. I said the hose would get in the way, didn't I, Isabel?
Yes, you did.
An absolute massive positive, not positive, an absolute must on this is when you take this out, look at the direction of the actual pumps going. So we're just going to pop this out now. I can't get that out of there. Okay, I need to twist that round to get it up. But before I do that, we're just going to pop the top off this like so. Safe isolation clearly here, just to make sure, even though we know it's off upstairs. You've got your live neutral earth there. We're just going to pop them out. one, literally all you do with them is you pull them towards you, okay, and they release. So number 2 and number 3. I'm just going to pull that out like so. You shouldn't have a problem if these touch, but sometimes if you touch neutral to earth, it can trip the RCD in the house, so just be a bit careful of that. Now we've done that, we can just spin that round, and that should just pop out, but it's still stuck. I'll come back to you. One pump. Normally, you just twist these like so, and they lift out. That, for some reason, didn't want to come out. I don't know why. So anyway, as I was going back a step, clearly this is the way it come out. If you look on the bottom, you'll see the arrow. Okay, silly place to have it, but there it is. So clearly it goes that way. So that's the way it's going to go. That's the flow. So we're just going to get rid of this, nice and gently. Like so, and we're going to get the new pump out. Like so. This isn't a genuine Grant one. This is clearly the same make, but it's a bit cheaper to buy it this way. If you're doing a Grant combi boiler, I would probably recommend you put the actual genuine one on that's designed for the boiler, but this is a bit different. So as you can see, this is going to go this way around, absolutely no problem at all. But I'm not happy with the head. We want the head to be upright. So I'm going to undo that, that, and I'm going to spin the head round and put it back on again, and then I'll do them up, and then we'll get that into place and we'll get through to the wiring. I'll do that because you don't want to see me doing that, and I'll be back. Okay, so the pump's in place just there. I've undone the valve so that obviously some water will go back in there. If you come under here, Isabel, you can see all the dials and all the bits, and that will be under there. That's where you get to it now, and then it plugs onto there, the plug basically. Okay, so it's a pain. You might have to drop that off when you take that off, but I wanted that pump to be upright, and I didn't want it to be at an angle because it wouldn't be right. Okay, so that's the only downside of doing it with this pump, but it's fine. Right, so we're just going to wire it. We're just going to get these cables here. We're going to pop the back nut on first. Like so. This wire should be long enough. If it's not, then I'll get a bit of 3/4 and do it with that. Okay, so we're just going to twist the ends of the wires. And these are quite simple here. You've got your live neutral earth on here. It's written on there, look, like so. And then what you do is you push the white tag down, and that opens a little hole up. And then you can push, for example, the live in like so. And then you let go and push up. That's in. Okay, so it is simple as that. I'm just going to do it with the neutral and the earth. What you have to be very careful is when you do it that you don't push 2 at the same time. If you push 2 at the same time, the previous one you've put in basically comes out again. Okay, so you mustn't do that. So I'm just putting the last one in now. And that's it. When that's done, you can't knock them anymore for the pure reason when it goes in like so. Okay, so obviously it can't be knocked, so they can't be lifted and come undone anymore. So we're going to push that in there, clip into there. We'll do that up a couple of turns, then we push the wire in like so. And then we do it up. So the idea is, as you can see, there's nothing coming out of there. It's absolutely fine. And I'll clip that back on there shortly when we've serviced the boiler in a little while. So that's the pump done. Unfortunately, I'll show you that lit up later. Unfortunately, I can't do this auto air vent. I've tried to undo it with my tool. I've tried to undo it with other stuff. We put a bit of heat on it. It's not budging. All it's going to do is break the pipe underneath. So we're either going to have to change this pipe or speak to the customer about leaving it, which I'm not happy to do, or to cut a bit out, solder a T in, and then put a different vent on there. There is a manual one beside, as you can see, but it'd be ideally nice to get one of them on. So that's something I'll discuss with them shortly. Okay, moving to the vessel hose. As you can see, it's drained now because clearly that's been on there a while. I'm going to pop the burner out. I'm then going to take this end on off here and put it into a bucket to make sure there's no water coming out. And then we're going to crack it undone there, and we're going to go for it and change it over. We'll be back in a minute. Okay, vessel hose. MPCBS 79, there's loads available. Get the right one for the job. Okay, so we're using Loctite here 55 because it's Obviously string goes into the thread, as you can see, and it's got some glue on it all as one. So this shouldn't need anything else on it. It should go straight in as it is, like so. Okay, so we're just going to crack off the vessel now. We've got a bucket. There shouldn't be anything come out, but you never know. Literally totally empty. So there's nothing been going in and out of that, and it still looks like new. So clearly, whoever fitted that hadn't checked that at the same time. Okay, so that'll get checked on the service anyway, and we're on about doing a YouTube short for how to check an expansion vessel coming your way soon. Okay, so next one we're going to do is we're going to undo that. Normally pair grits would do it, if not I have to go and get an adjustable, which I'm going to have to go and get. So Isabel, I'll be back. Before she turns that off, you need to wrench that and do that in.
Yeah, don't do that.
Okay, if you do that, you're going to cause yourself a problem. So I'll go get an adjustable, I'll get some more manly tools, and I'll be back again. For people who haven't got one of these, especially for things like vessel hoses and that, I recommend it. Wear a joker, but it's like the ratchet style one, like so. It just keeps gripping. So things like this, you see I couldn't do it with my grits, but this is like having an adjustable but without the extra bits on it. If I put that on there like so, you wait until you feel it grip and you pull. There you go. And if I just get that out of the way, as soon as you've done that, you literally ratchet round and away you go. See how simple that is? Right, so that's how we're going to undo that. Now we've got it cracked up done, I'll go back to my grips. We're going to have to work quite fast. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that end undone so we know the water's still coming out if there is any. Okay, and then we're just going to drop that out and we're going to put the other one in, just there, like so, in theory. But just in case, we'll stick a bucket under it. Right, Isabel, let's go for it. I should let you do this, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
So you have to be careful because obviously this is blocked, and if it's blocked and you couldn't undo it this way, for example, and you've taken the pressure out of it, you might get a big gush of water, so you do have to be very, very careful. Yeah, that's absolutely solid. There we go, that's the problem with that. Right, what we're going to do now is we're just going to get any old Allen key. We're going to just push it in there and make sure that that's okay there. As you can see, there's nothing in there at all, so that's fine. So we know it's all clear. So we're just going to get this. These can be quite troublesome to start, or sometimes they go first time. There we go, we're off. So this time I'm going to use this to do it up with because clearly it's not going to do any damage. So you put it on the other way around and away you go. You've got to keep your hands loose because as you can see the whole lot turns at the same time. So this has obviously got to turn at the same time. So just take your time and do not over tighten it. As you can see, this is much easier than using an adjustable. I'm going to nip it now, like so. Okay, so the size of that is 19 to 24. If you want to start doing this end on the ratchets, you need bigger, but at the end of the day, an adjustable spanner's fine for that. But things like this, and most 15 and 22, that's what I would use. Okay, because it's much easier. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the vessel back on. if it goes on, he says. Like so. Right, before we do that up, we're just going to make sure it's right, because it's basically got to sit in there and it's got to come out of there, it's got to come round nice and back and onto there. If you get that wrong and you squash it, then you're back to square one. So that is the correct position for it to be in. So we're literally just going to give it a little nip. That's it, as simple as that. So I'm now going to just take the drain off hose off. I'm going to reconnect the mains into there, and when I've done that, we'll be back again. Okay, so we've jumped forward a bit, we've done the service now, but as you know, the vlog wasn't about the service, so I'm just going to put the balanced fluid hose on, which is the last thing to do, like so. I'll do that up in just 2 seconds. Okay, the filling loop's back on again, that's all in a good position, there's no crunch there, so we're just going to undo that. We've introduced some inhibitor upstairs in the tail light upstairs, so I'm now just going to fill it. So when I fill it, let me just get on here. Okay, so when I fill it, what I'm actually looking for is how fast this goes up. Okay, so at the moment the water's going in there, not quite flat out, but it's going in there quite fast. Obviously we've got to fill the system up first, where we've drained the boiler, etc. So let's just put that flat out, because it's quite slow, this one. Now before, when I pressurised this, or yesterday when we looked and pressurised this went straight up really fast. Okay, so I'm expecting this, as you can see now, it's just rising a lot slower. So that's telling me, and this is ice cold, and so is the pipe. So this is now telling me that actually this is starting to do its job. Okay, I can just hear this starting to make a slight noise, but it won't make much yet because there's not enough pressure in it. So we'll just wait for it to go up a bit more. So yeah, this, you got that, Isabel? As you can see, this is going up quite slowly before it went straight up. It's going up a lot more slowly. So that's telling me that this is a lot better now. It's a lot happier than what it was before. Okay, so as I'm talking to you, I can just hear a bit of gurgling, and we're getting up towards the 1 bar, and I can just feel the stuff starting to go in here properly now. So that is about right. So yeah, that's absolutely fine. So we're going to turn that off like so, down this side. When you turn off a filling loop, always make sure you turn off both ends in case it leaks on one side. Okay, check for leaks, which we've got none of, that's good. Okay, I'm not going to fire this yet, I'm going to wait a minute, because at the moment, as you can see, that is dropping down, because that's just this settling. Okay, I will top it up a couple of times until it's in the right position, and then I'll be back. Okay, so we're out here. I know I'm not showing you on the vlog the service, but I just want to bring you back to something that I come across quite often. Plastic tiger loop. You have a plastic tiger loop here, it's not allowed anymore. The reason they actually ban them is 1, because of fires, and number 2, they go brittle and then they end up leaking. But there's 2 things wrong with this, or a few things wrong here. Number 1, it's plastic. Number 2, they are actually called deaerators as well. That's what they do, deaerate. If that was to deaerate vapour on a nice hot day and go up into the air intake, all unlikely, but potentially into the boiler, boom. Okay, so that's not what you want to be doing. I can, however, put a metal one back there, because on the vents on the top now, you can actually have some copper pipe off the top, which will go down out the way. So the new one can go there, but that one shouldn't have been there. Basically, it's too close. I can't remember the exact distance, but I know it's too close. Going back to here, okay, the oil tank is absolutely miles away here. Yeah, the oil tank is absolutely miles away. Alright, so that should have had an additional filter. So that should have come up, had a filter, but it should have come up the oil line, come along there, or even come out here. Isolation valve, filter, and then obviously your fire valve, and then up onto your tiger loop. Isabel, also while we're here, can we bring people's attention? It is now officially go down. Shorts
weather.
Legs. They'll be tanned in a few weeks when the sun comes out, and that's it till November now. Anyway, just getting it out there. Get your shorts on. Right, come on, back into the house. So this has been running about half an hour now, and I set the pressure on about a bar, just under a bar, and you can see it's hardly gone up. Okay, I was expecting to go up a little bit more, but when it was running before, within 10 minutes, that was right up around here. This is also starting to warm up, which is absolutely lovely. And this hose also is warming up here at the same time, So this is telling me that this is absolutely fine. So we're done inside the boiler now. Obviously we can't do that. I'm going to talk to the customer about that, which is absolutely fine. The small issue we've actually got though is not on the boiler side. The customer's just come and told us that sometimes at night when they turn the system off, what basically happens is the boiler carries on running, so all the timers are off, but there's still power to the boiler and the pump. So they said sometimes it does it, sometimes it doesn't. I've been up into the airing cupboard that I'll show you in a minute. It's not doing the fault at the moment. However, there is a Danfoss motorizer valve in the airing cupboard. It's really common, as per one of my previous vlogs, that on the Danfoss motorised valves, even in the off position, sorry, we'll keep going, even in the off position, we'll stop that, even in the off position, for the third time, it can still have the micro switch inside stuck together, and it fires up the orange wire and basically keeps the system running. So because it doesn't do it all the time, but they reckon it's doing it probably twice to 3 times a week, I'm going to go by experience. We're going to take a punt on that, and we're going to put an EPH D1P back on. So we're going to pop upstairs now after we've cleared up here, and we'll be back. And we're upstairs. Okay, so I think it's that. Because it did, since we spoke to you, stick the once, and it was basically on all the time, yet the timers were off, and I just went like that, and it stopped. So it's got to be that, so that's good news. Okay, so we're going to put an EPH one on. So what we do is we just undo it. I have killed the supply, turned the mains off to the systems for safe isolation. We're going to drop one out of there, and there should be one at the bottom. But I need to kneel down. There we go. But I can't kneel down because Isabel's in the way of the camera. Here we go. Right. There we go. That ran out of day 2017, so that really makes me think it's going to be that even more. First thing we need to do is make sure this turns. Easy peasy. These are common for leaking, so white them around the bottom. You can see there's no leak there. It's fine. Okay, the good news is, it's made my day, is that when I trace the wires back, it goes into a load of Wagos. We love a Wago. They're just nice and easy to push together. So the wire inside is going to be easy. I'm not even going to bother showing you that. We're just going to show you the valve here. Okay, so this is the Danfoss conversion valve, which is made by EPH. The good news about these is it will just clip on in exactly the same way, but when it's powered up, unlike this one, a light comes on, which is even better. The other good thing about these is a straight swap onto there, is you have basically a push connector like so. That's it. So if this was to go wrong in the future, even though it's got a 5-year guarantee on it, it's literally unclip like so, undo the two, put the 2 screws back in there, do it up, click it on, done. It is as simple as that. So that is that. They are brilliant. Well done, EPH.
And they're on our shop.
And they're on our Shopify, aren't they, Isabel?
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to get this on. I'm going to get into there. I'm going to wire it up there. So go into the wiring. Just so people know, if we want to just drop into here quick, you will have the grey is permanent live. The blue is neutral. Yellow is green is obviously earth, which you don't have on a Danfoss. But obviously, I'm going to pick it up on there inside that wiring centre. And then the difference is here, the brown wire, okay, is the feed from either a thermostat, the programmer, whichever way you do it. So a lot of people get confused with wiring on motorised valves, especially the 2-port valve. They think that's a permanent live and they think that that's a switch live. It's not, it's the other way around. Simple as that. All right, so I'm going to get this wired in and we'll show it lit up in a minute, won't we?
Yes,
Let's
we
crack
will.
on. So that is that done. As you can see now, when there's power to it, it's lit up orange, so we know what's going on. Perfect. So that is done. I'm happy with that. That all works now. The boiler's all serviced and done. I'm happy with that. As we know, we've done the circulating pump downstairs, so the vessel hose, we're happy with that. But we couldn't do the automatic air vent for obvious reasons, because I couldn't undo it. It was going to bend and break the pipe. That is it. That is this week's YouTube vlog done from us at Button All Services, and I hope you enjoyed it. So yeah, A bit of a short one this week, but as I said in my intro, unfortunately with what's been going on in my world, I'm surprised I've even managed to get one done anyway, but there we go. But I've enjoyed doing it. Please feel free to comment as always, and subscribers, even though we haven't been doing videos, we still seem to be gaining them. So thank you, we do really appreciate it. So yeah, have a good week everybody, and until next week, stay safe.